Um, yeah. So the servers for Friday the 13th are currently down, and they're running off the servers from the European servers, basically. And Crowbar is playing it, and I'm just riding around on a four wheeler on Far Cry 5. So we're getting kind of ticked off with the whole situation with Friday the 13th because come to find out via Slash and Cast that it's Sean Cunningham that's not wanting to release any new content because he's a 65-year-old cunt that only cares about money. And why did you give the rights to your characters to Gun Media and Ilphonics if you're not going to allow them to even build on it, even to make you any more money?
Well, let me just interject here for a second.
Okay, you know more
It,
about it than I
it,
do. I'm just, yeah.
um, it still is gun media, but Ilphonics is actually not even a company anymore.
Really?
Uh, yeah, they're actually using Black Tower Studios now.
And where is Black Tower Studios? Is it like an American company? Is it a European company? I mean, I've
Yeah,
never heard of them.
I do not recall. I have not actually heard yet,
I
but
wonder
I
how
do
come.
know.
I wonder how come Ilphonics just like basically folded. I mean, I guess.
I do not know because the popularity of this game should have been enough to push it to one of the better selling games on PS4.
It had the potential last year to be one of the top five selling games of the year, and I think with all the issues whenever the game first came out, due to the fact that you had to wait 5, 10, 15, 20, even sometimes 30 minutes, as I did one time, to even get a match.
Hmm.
Um, that's what really hurt them, due to the fact that I guess they didn't prepare themselves for such a um, how do you put this, like a want from the gaming community to play this game, because we haven't had a Friday the 13th game since 1989, and that one
Right.
was one of the most terrible games I've ever played in my life. I have it actually
I do
on
too. And yet,
on
but surprisingly, I liked the way that they tried to do the game, but technology back then
didn't allow for
wouldn't
it.
allow, right, it just wouldn't allow for it. So,
I
um,
mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I played it as a kid, and I just thought that it wasn't like Contra or Double Dragon or uh, Super Mario World. It wasn't something that could be fast paced, or it was more of a slow paced game. Like, I guess people nowadays would call it like an RPG, due to the fact that, yeah, you're fighting against other characters, but I mean, it's just kind of like it kind of played like an RPG back in the day, wouldn't you think?
yeah, I mean, because the way when you got the torch, you were almost ungodly, or the dagger.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, like, another horror game that you play, I mean, obviously they made a Nightmare on Elm Street game for Nintendo, and I really loved that one more than I did the Friday the 13th, because
Hmm.
it was a lot funner, but um, it was also
Invite
very
the
hard.
Billcasters in here. Did
Okay,
you add him?
no. Hang on a second, and I will. Uh, I set the party to private, so, and yeah. I got him. I got him. But like what you're saying, I mean, there wasn't that many horror games back in the late 90s, or excuse me, the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, you
Right.
had Friday, you had Nightmare on Elm Street. You might have had maybe one or two more. I think like the next horror game that came out was the one that me and you were talking about last night, and that was Night Trap, and that came out what in 91 or 92. So basically more
Yeah.
than 5 years.
Um, but the real honest to goodness horror genre started with the PlayStation game. What was the name of it?
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Yeah, that's how it all got started. And you know, to me, it's been, Resident Evil was always up in the pinnacle of it,
Right.
but they've, I've got a couple Resident Evil games, and I will tell you, the very first game may be the very best.
I would have to say maybe Resident Evil 2 or
Yeah.
Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube, because visually it was amazing and the gameplay was really good. And I remember whenever I had it, there was one part, you're in the house and you're going down this long corridor and it's storming and lightning outside, and it's raining, and out comes this horde of zombies, and literally I jumped because it startled me. I was like, whoa, what the, but I mean, now they've got like horror games like The Last of Us and a bunch of other stuff, and it's become oversaturated. I mean, it's like the whole zombie craze, I think, is finally dying down, because like Walking Dead is that's just too gross. I won't even watch it. I just don't get any enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how many more seasons of The Walking Dead there is. I still enjoy it,
Uh-huh.
but I don't see it lasting beyond 3 more years.
No. Probably, like, if you're going to give me a zombie movie, give me the 78 version of Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, and Return of the Living Dead Part 2. That right there, Return of the Living Dead Part 2 is my favorite all-time zombie movie. I love that movie because it is so funny. Well, Zombieland, and I'll say this: Zombieland is a great movie, but
Oh,
I don't look at it as a
make
as
sure
zombie
he knows
movie.
we're doing a recording.
Yeah, we're doing a recording, so we're just talking about games and stuff. But Zombieland is funny, but I'm talking like all out gore fest. Like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, I thought was really good, because I had never seen the original Dawn of the Dead until after I saw the remake, and that was in '04, I think. That one came out, and then a buddy of mine, who's no longer with us, me and him actually went up to Monroeville Mall up in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, where they actually filmed the original Dawn of the Dead, and we did the zombie walk. They did that Saturday nights during September and October, and we did that about 12 or 13 years ago, and that was really cool because I had just seen the movie, and you can still see where certain shots were and everything like that. So but other than that, So what else you got, Crowbar?
Well, hold on a minute.
You're like,
You and Seal talk for a minute.
I'm just sitting here battling a sinus infection. Are you running the US servers, or are you running the EU servers? Okay.
It says US now? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason that it was down was because everybody downloaded this game that's got PlayStation Plus, and they got bombarded. I was like, I've only seen that one other time with this game, and that was whenever the game first came out. Yeah,
The servers were down.
me and Queen were going to play and everything earlier, and I'd sent Crowbar a message being like, hey, you want to play Beyond later? And he's like, yeah. And then I connected, and it said verify your internet connectivity, and I was like, what? I was like, and then I went to the community page on my PlayStation, and everybody was like, what in the world's the problem? What in the world's the problem? Blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, well, we're just going to have to wait. I said, so I got on some. Which one do you got now?
It's probably 3. What level are you now, Seal? Wow! Well, 140 more levels and you'll be good to go.
You'd be like me. 7's good. He's really good in the water. Him in part 8. Oh yeah. Gosh, I gotta take some freaking Tylenol. Oh yeah. I forgot which Jason where you first start the game. I know it's 3 and 2 or 3 other ones. Mm-hmm.
I'm not streaming it. He is.
Mm-hmm.
We take turns.
Yeah. I've just got the sound off on my Far Cry 5, and I was just riding around on an ATV because I've already beat the game, so I told Crowbar, I was like, why don't I have any sound on this game? And I was like, oh yeah, I remember I turned it off last night. Yeah, I drank a fifth of Wild Turkey 101 last night, and I was gone.
Well, alright. Let me, I got killed with 51 seconds to go.
Join the club. If you know how to dodge and weave against Jason, you can escape with no weapons and no nothing. I mean, you've got to really know what you're doing, though. Yep. You can if you know what you're doing. My favorite thing to do is if I'm playing against Jason and he tries to knife me, I'll like bob and weave. It's so funny. Oh God. No, his grip strength is really good. The one that I would recommend you use next once you unlock him is part 8. That's the one with the fire axe.
The red axe.
Oh look,
Okay.
there's a bear.
So now we can start our discussion again. With the announcements that come today off Slash and Cast, I don't foresee this game getting much better other than, like I said, stability patches. It's 100% done. I still think they need to do some tweaking on the balance of power, but that's me. But well, you can quit. You can quit and then refresh up there on the options button. Hit it again, and hit it, and that will cancel your join. Okay, then re-enter as a quick play, and if there's any server space available, that you can get in there.
I just dropped my iPad. Oh well. I just want to play the multiplayer. That's it. I don't want to play the Blackout because I played it and I really didn't like it.
Wait a minute. This is not to talk about Black Ops. I'm sorry, but this is about Friday the 13th. So let's kind of stay on topic. Alright.
Don't hurt me, Big Daddy.
Yeah. You played Friday, evidently 10 levels now. What do you think of the game? Right. Yeah, but you know you can only be Jason so many times in a row too. Oh yeah, yeah, and you can't just step on there and say, well, yeah, I'm just gonna go up here and knock his brains out. It don't work like that. No, I mean. Yeah. I think the best thing that could happen for everybody is learn how to play it for free this month. And then the people that shit talk the game can understand what the game's really about.
I agree with you.
Because there's kind of a how do you say it? There's a bad stigma about the game, and I don't want to persecute the game. It's not the game's fault.
Okay, crowbar, quit deep throating the microphone.
Well, it wasn't deep throat. It's Sean Miller's fault.
Sean Miller. Who's Sean Miller? It's Victor Miller's illegitimate son. It's the one that Jason Voorhees was based off of.
Yeah, no shit.
I do agree with you on that. Now that what you've told me, you know, whenever we were talking before we started the broadcast, I mean, yeah, it is. Why? And then here's my problem with this. Why do you give the rights to your character and to your cash cow, the one thing that you're known for, basically, because he's really not known for any other movies other than this, to a video game company to develop a game to bring life back into the game? Because let's face it, you've not seen a Jason Voorhees movie since 2009.
Video game.
You've not seen a movie. You've not seen a video game since '89. I mean, you know, it was basically a dying franchise. But then, I mean, yeah, granted, around this time of year, of course, you're going to watch horror movies and stuff like that because it's Halloween.
Absolutely.
But my thing is this. Okay, thank goodness for these guys at Gun Media, because they breathed life back into this character. Because Sean Cunningham shouldn't be a dickhead about this. He should be like thanking them, be like, look, I gave you this, you know, to make your game, to make your vision. I mean, geez, they even got Kane Hodder to play Jason again, and I mean, that's great. But my thing is, if it wasn't for the game, Sean Cunningham wouldn't have the media attention that he's got right now. Because, I mean, let's face it, he was just it's like, and I hate to use this terminology, but it's like he's always going to be compared to Wes Craven, because Wes Craven created Freddy Krueger. Okay.
Right.
Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street have more of a longevity than Friday the 13th. Yes, Friday the 13th was the first movie to come out like this, but it didn't. Freddy Krueger's made more money than Jason Voorhees. And not every Nightmare on Elm Street movie is good, but the majority of them are not bad. You can't say that about Friday the 13th.
Here's my thing about this. If they still had the same, you know, Freddy Krueger to play it, I would be all over a new movie franchise, a franchise as well as video game franchise about it. I mean, well, I would be all about it.
There is a rumor going around that someone is wanting to do a prequel to Nightmare on Elm Street before in the way that it'll tell the backstory of Krueger. And Robert Englund said that would be the only way that he would ever play the character again, because I mean, he's almost 70 years old, and I mean, I'm sorry, when you sit there for like 6-7 hours getting makeup put on you, I mean, it's not very comfortable. It's not like Jason, right, where all you gotta do is just put on a suit and you know, you're covered with a mask basically the majority of it.
Let's face it, Kane Hodder's a badass motherfucker, dude.
I actually met him one time, and he was very nice and very patient, and I saw him like signing autographs for kids, you know, and he would like get down to their level. Now, I have met Robert Englund, and I got a Freddy versus Jason poster signed by him. And
Awesome.
the poster that I have is a misprint poster because it has the Freddy glove on the left hand and not the right.
Oh.
And he saw it, you know, and he shook my hand, talked to me for a minute. He goes, "You either work in a movie theater or you bought this on eBay," because this was in 2005 that I met him. And I said, "I work at a movie theater." And he said, "So you know that this is a misprint?" I was like, "Yes, sir, I do." And he drew a Freddy Krueger-esque character with a Sharpie on the poster. And I still have that poster is framed sitting in my spare room right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't geek out whenever I met him, because I was like, oh my God, you know, like, this is my favorite horror icon ever. But, you know, I mean, he was nice, and he sat down and talked to us. And I mean, I met Derek Mears, the guy that played Jason in the 2009 remake a couple years ago, at my buddy's comic book show.
Have you ever met Savini?
No, I have not met Savini. I did get to meet Sid Haig, though, from Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. He was real cool. He signed a picture for a friend of mine that worked with me, and she couldn't make it. So she was like, "Can you get me this?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I got to go in before all the people came in, because I was helping my buddy with his comic book show. He had, Diamond Dallas Page, Derek Mears, Zach Galligan, the one that played Billy from Gremlins. Brian O'Halloran from Clerks and Clerks 2 and all that Kevin Smith stuff.
You do know that, I mean, this is kind of borderline, but I mean, we are fans of good movies and such. There's a rumor floating around that Mallrats 2
that is actually
going to be made.
It is, but it's actually going to be made into a TV series.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a TV series. I want to see Mallrats the movie too.
I'm sorry, but Clerks is a great movie, but I honestly think that his best movie is probably, my favorite one is probably Clerks 2 that he did, that or Dogma. Mallrats is up there too, because I worked in a mall for almost 18 years. Okay. And literally everything that you see in that movie happens in a mall. It's so funny. It's just like, oh my God, like, this is kind of creepy, but oh well.
Yeah. Oh, I fully understand. But here's my deal. I don't. Clerks 3 would be okay, but another movie that I would love to see, dude. We'll probably never see it. Van Wilder 2. I mean, are you there? Oh, you're probably out smoking, ain't you?
Yep.
God dang.
But they made
this is why you need to start vaping again.
But they did make a Van Wilder Part 2 movie.
I mean with
Ryan Reynolds.
Did they really?
Yeah. Not with Ryan Reynolds, but it was made with an actor by the name of Jonathan Bennett. And actually, I got a funny story about that. Is his dad and him used to actually live in the town that I live in. So, and he used to play soccer with me whenever we were younger. And he came into town to see his dad. And this was so funny. This is probably 5 years ago. And he come into the theater, and all these girls were like, "Oh my God, it's the guy from Mean Girls." And he goes, he sees me, "Hey man, what's up?" And we sit in my office and sit there and just BS. And he goes, "How's life?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you know the guy from Mean Girls?" I was like, "Yeah, I used to play soccer with him as a kid."
Yeah.
But he played in it, and I think it was like one of the girls from like one of those MTV reality shows or something played in it as well. But you know, I'm not for sure. I've not seen it because I've seen the very first Van Wilder, and that was it. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my God.
It was the closest thing that we would ever get to Animal House.
Van Wilder is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Just because it's slapstick, off the wall, hilarity. You know, I mean, it's the hilarity of that movie. There is no, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I really like the cream pies they put for.
Oh God, don't. Oh, I used to like eating eclairs, and then I saw that, and I'm like, nope.
Oh, dude, that is some funny stuff. But just to finish off about Friday the 13th.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you had total control of this game, what would you do with it from now on?
I would change the name. I would change the name of Camp Crystal Lake. I would change everything that has anything to do with that character in general. And since the hockey mask as a killer,
there's been other movies with killers with hockey masks on, haven't there?
Yes. The reason I'm saying that, okay, is who says they have to take the exact path of a Friday the 13th movie? I would take out any dealings to do with Sean Cunningham or Victor Miller, for that matter, also, or come to some kind of payment form that you can with Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham, or vice versa. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I would change the name of it immediately. I'd call it something off the wall different, you know.
Camp Blood. Well,
Killer,
not Camp.
or no, like Killers Abound or something, you know. Something to do with killing, but that, you know, because you can have a video game about, you know, 1,000 ways to die, or 25 ways to die, or you know what I'm saying here? It's not copyrighted.
No. You would literally have to, in order to do that, though, you would literally have to take everything that everybody has bought and all the games and everything and all the perks and completely wipe it out and reinstall the game as the new game and then start over with basically nothing.
Bring your own bring a new currency to the game. So what?
Yeah.
have one called a CP, the other one a SP, and the final ones that you can collect is GP. Gold pieces, silver pieces, and copper pieces.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that.
I like the idea of one currency better. But anything that can get that video game away and anything to do with Friday the 13th, anything, I'd get it. I'd get all likelihoodness taken off.
Right.
No, because that's the only thing he has as his ammunition to take him to court.
Is the name and the characters. That's it.
Right. Not necessarily. There's ways to go about doing it. There, I mean, it could be something very subtle. The spray paint killer. Who cares? Whatever it takes.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, and it's kind of ridiculous on how this has all turned out, because I mean, people love this game and people have backed this game since, goodness gracious, since the game first came out, like what, 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe. I mean, the first time I saw anything about the game was like in I think it was like late 2015, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're making a Friday the 13th game. I was like, this is neat. And then I saw like the footage, and we're all like, wow, what are they going to do now? Is this are they going to try to do this the right way? And then you see, all the little Easter eggs, with the stuff that's in the game, and it's just kind of like, okay, but
there is the new Slash and Cast, which just got done streaming 30 minutes ago, is 2 hours and 26 minutes.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Now, keep in mind that was a live stream, so they've been doing, calling out, reading questions, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it's like watching the Kavanaugh proceedings,
Yeah. Well, myself, I just want to shed the shit show, part the good or the bad with away from the good, and just let us play it. Everybody understands what's up. They understand what this game really is. That, that's just the way it is. But, they're going to end support eventually anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, but then people are going to be out all this money, and then my thing is, why put out an Ultimate Edition box with the game and the posters and all the DLCs if this game is going to die very quickly because of this lawsuit.
Which goes to my next thing and my last thing I want to talk about on Friday the 13th. They should have waited till the lawsuit was settled to release that Ultimate Collection, and then they could have rebranded it and said, this is our new product.
Yep. I agree with you 100%.
You know, it's gonna be the same no matter. You know, what are you gonna do? Take the game away from me? No, you're gonna eat a bag of dicks until you fucking let me have my fucking video game. You know, I've got the hard copy, and what are they gonna do? Nothing.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I just don't see why they put out this Ultimate Edition, Special Edition, whatever. You know, like what you said, while the lawsuit was in litigation. You know, why don't wait until after everything's over with and everything?
Right.
Because let's face it, they could just say, well, you know, in all honesty, here's the way. If it's going to die, then they need to take
Hold on a second. Silcasters, are you streaming? Okay, well it shows me that you are. Okay.
But here's my take on that. Okay, give us a credit on our PlayStation account for what we paid for the game. Take the game off of the network, you know, and have a update, like a system update through PlayStation to actually wipe the game off of everyone's hard drive, you know. But give us our money that we paid for this game if it's going to be a dying game anyway. Because I mean, if you take the
Right.
servers away, the only thing that we've got is the offline and the challenges. And I'm sorry, you can't play with, you know, anybody else other than yourself on those. I mean, the only bad thing about it is you're going to lose a lot of people that have met people like me and you and Queen and Frenzy and Leo and you know, Logan. Well, I know Logan, he's one of my buddies, and some other people that we have met through this game, and we became friends.
Right.
That's the downside of this. That is the whole downside. I don't care if, okay, I paid $29.99 for this game the day it came out in May of last year. Give me a $30 credit, you know. I don't care to eat the $2 or $3 for the downloadable stuff that I bought or whatever, like the costumes and the emotes or whatever. But just give me a refund for the money that I spent, and then I'll spend it on something else, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way they've got it set up is that the way it's set right now, the only company that's going to take it in the ass on this is going to be Gun Media.
Yeah.
And, you know, Gun Media isn't to blame.
No. But here's my thing on this, on Gun Media. If they knew that a lawsuit was pending about the whole game and they couldn't update the game or put new content, why didn't they put the Grendel and the Uber Jason in the game? And then, okay, the lawsuit's going in, we can't do any more updates or anything like that. Give us another map, give us another Jason. What we were promised, you know, from what, 6-8 months ago, and then do the system upgrades. You know, do the dedicated servers, do the new play engine, you know, and all the fixes. I mean, you can do that. You can update the game as far as stability for the players, but you can't install new content. I get that, but why didn't they just put that in there to begin with? No matter how bad it was, no matter how many glitches there were, people would have been like, okay, well, now that there's there's a lawsuit. We can't have new stuff, but they're going to, you know, continually upgrade the system for the playability fact of it. That's my only thing.
Well, here's the thing: people have wrote this game off so many times, and everybody still wants to play it.
Yep.
So,
I mean, yep. It is what it is, my friend. I mean, it's like other games that have had this, like that PUBG. It tried to go up against Fortnite and H1Z1, and I've never played it, but people said that it's a dead game now, or it's not even available anymore.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
For one, they're never going to get the market share away from H1Z1.
Yeah.
And they're never going to get the market share from Fortnite. Right. But what I really like about the game is there are very few restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you can hop in a fucking car and take off as long as it's one of the cars you can use, you know. But, you know.
Yep. I've only played it twice.
It's really not neither one of them are my cup of tea, but I will say I will not play Fortnite, and if I'm ever going to play a battle royale like that, it's going to be H1Z1. Yeah.
Yeah, but no matter what, I'm just waiting for the end of this month, the 27th. After that, I could give two craps about Friday the 13th, because my game is going to be released, and it only took 8 years to get it.
Well, should we spoil it? I mean, my God.
I have played the first Red Dead Redemption, I bet you 20-something times all the way through, just because it's fun. It is, and the second one is going to intertwine the storyline from the first one. You're going to be able to see John Marston as an outlaw, and that's pretty awesome if you ask me.
Well, that's just not my cup of tea either. I'm probably going to play basketball till baseball season starts up.
Oh yeah, 2004. That was amazing. Even though the graphics were kind of, crappy, but it was a fun game to play. Yep.
Well, that's like Borderlands. A lot of people love Borderlands.